Good Tuesday evening, Southeast Texas. Thanks so much for joining us on 12 News Plus. We're going to take an in-depth look at your forecast over the next 7 days and answer questions and take a look at the tropics in just a minute or two. Otherwise, right now things winding down. We're losing the sun as it sets, and things are stabilizing across the area in the atmosphere, as you can see, after some showers over towards Lake Charles and even here in the Triangle today. Looking at very little convective activity or clouds out there. So tomorrow it looks like low chances, maybe isolated afternoon thunderstorms. It'll be a hot Wednesday, and we'll start to see the clouds come on in Thursday ahead of some tropical moisture coming in from the east. It could be wet coming up on Friday and Saturday, and then that all moves through on Sunday and out of the picture. And next week, Monday and Tuesday of next week, looks hot and mainly dry across our area. Otherwise, on your allergy report today, looking at moderate levels of weed and grass pollen measured today, and mold, no tree pollen measured. So tomorrow we're going to go with a high of around 94 in Beaumont, a 10% coverage of afternoon showers and storms. Modeling is pretty close to that. I think it's a little hot as far as the high temperature goes, but rain chances, again, a 10% coverage. I'm not buying this activity in the morning. Why would that occur? It would be in the afternoon this time of year. So model's too hot, and I like the 10% during the afternoon. For the lakes area, about 95, maybe 96. Not expecting any rain up there, as we're looking at southwest and then south winds. And again, I'm not going with those morning showers. This is straight model data. And as you can see, a 97 is certainly possible. I feel comfortable with a 95 or 96, maybe not a 97, as this high is not terribly strong that's over us right now. So lots of sun coming up tomorrow. And as you can see, the sea breeze continues to march on off towards the north. The airport temperatures measured into the mid to upper 80s to around 90 degrees. Sea breeze heading on off towards the north, right through the Triangle. Otherwise, lots of moisture, very humid scenario over our area. It's just summertime on the Pro Roofing Concept satellite and radar loop. One surprise today, we got more in the way of shower and thunderstorm activity because modeling was just underdone as far as moisture at around 10,000 feet. We're talking about that all the time, about how we look at the amount of moisture at about 10,000 feet. That generally does a pretty good job of showing us where our best chances of shower and thunderstorm activity are going to be. So it formed along the sea breeze here in the Triangle, and it dumped a good 1 to 2 inches in spots across portions of Beaumont, and that has now ended, and looking at a dry night across southeast Texas. So today, again, more rain where they don't need it over towards the southwestern U.S., over towards say Weatherford, Fort Worth, and back over towards southwest Texas. And unfortunately, more rain where they don't need it into southwest Texas with all the flooding. And as you can see, spotty scattered showers over our area this afternoon. Okay, so as we take a look at the forecast the next day or two in the lower and mid levels of the atmosphere, yeah, we've got moisture at about 5,000 feet tomorrow, so I'm not going to go with dry weather conditions. Could be, as we've got dry air, fairly dry air at 10,000 feet. So 10–20% coverage. I don't see anything warning any higher than that. Now that does change as we head towards Friday and Saturday. We're looking at lots of moisture moving across our area Friday and Saturday, not just at the surface, but 5,000 and 10,000 feet. So we're going to see mostly cloudy skies. And when you have the atmosphere loaded with that amount of moisture, typically with tropical moisture, some of those cells could drop some locally heavy rainfall across the area. Otherwise, I'll get to this question in just a second. Then on Sunday's our turning point. Sunday right there, that's the day, a transition day to a drier scenario as we work on into Monday and Tuesday of next week as far as the moisture moving on off. So tonight, looking at any shower and thunderstorm activity ending over the next hour or so. It looks like a quiet night across southeast Texas. It's going to be warm and humid, no doubt about that, as we'll see lows in the low to mid 70s in the lakes, and I think we're going to go with the mid to upper 70s and lower 80s in the Triangle. Then tomorrow, let's see what high-res modeling shows. And this is straight modeling. This is not something that I've kind of put together. This is the actual model that shows maybe a 10, possibly 20% coverage in the Triangle, with very little, if anything, up in the lakes area and in the tropics. Okay, so we've got some questions. Is there a chance of the storm moving over Florida, coming to Texas? Yes, there's a chance, but it looks like mainly Louisiana at this time. We'll get to that in just a second. Hello, I have family that lives in Eunice, Louisiana, and wondering if the system will be coming to Louisiana. Will that be part of the path of the storm? Well, right now, the storm, it's not really a storm. It's a weak area of low pressure. It's a tropical low. It's not even a depression, just a tropical wave. There is low pressure. And what I've seen is some 10 to 20 mile per hour winds around it. No big deal right now. Now, this is going to be moving off into the eastern and northeastern Gulf overnight and tomorrow morning. So what are we going to have as this moves across the Gulf? Well, that's very early right now. It'll be interesting to see satellite and what this does tomorrow as far as dictating what we can expect with this affecting Louisiana and Texas. So the deal is that right now it's over land, so it's anybody's guess how strong this is going to be. However, modeling does show a weak system heading towards Louisiana. Here's the new updated path from the National Hurricane Center. And again, they've kept a 40% probability of this turning into a tropical depression or tropical storm. The next name would be Dexter. And I think that's going to be a stretch. It's not impossible. Could be a depression, but the problem is there's going to be a lot of shear over, say, Acadiana, back over to southeast Texas. So, you know, it may spin up and then hit the shear and then weaken. We've seen this a lot of times as it heads on into Louisiana, we think towards late Thursday and on into, say, Friday. So here is the Jeffs, the GFS. You've probably seen and heard us talking about the GFS and the European. I don't like just using a single GFS model or a single European model. We're going to use an ensemble of these. So this is 25 members of the GFS, and it does show a little bit of a spread, as you can see, but the bulk of those are contained within this area. Would you agree? Okay. Yes, we do have some outliers. We're going to ignore those. They could be right, but the consensus, the greatest number of these lines are over towards Louisiana, Mississippi. Wouldn't you agree? So that's what we'd like. We think that this is probably going to do something like this, something like that. That's the consensus. Most of the lines do something like that. And then after that, it could come around back off towards and do a hook off towards the north and the northeast. So that's what we're looking at right now. And again, it's being guided. All this red right here is high pressure. High is pushing this off towards the west. This is the low-level spin, or what we think is going to be the storm right there. Could be a depression, maybe a tropical storm, but again, as it's going to be coming into Louisiana, it's going to be running into shear, okay? Let me show you what I'm talking about. So we had it right there. This is the model showing it. It's going to be running into winds at 20, just over 20 miles an hour over Louisiana. That's not good for storms to develop. It may try to spin up weakly in the north central Gulf, maybe as a depression. I just don't think it's going to do a depression or a tropical storm right now. Could surprise us, surprise me, and go in as a tropical storm. It'd be Dexter if it did. Right now, it just seems like this is not a pristine area for this to just bottom out and rapidly intensify. So that's what we're looking at right now in my thoughts as far as that goes. Now, this is moisture in the atmosphere, and you can see quite a bit of moisture moving in associated with the storm. So again, the storm comes in Thursday night into Friday. This is Friday night. That moisture is steered by the easterly winds into southwest Louisiana, southeast Texas, Acadiana, and that's going to be on Friday and Saturday. That's when I think we'll see our best chances of rain across our area. No wind. It's how much rain do we get. Modeling is not very gung-ho on it across southeast Texas. I've seen about 1 to 3, and I'll show you that in just a second. The rain's likely to be heavier over towards New Orleans, Terrebonne Parish, and southeastern Louisiana. it does look like there is the potential when you get this kind of a tropical air mass associated with a tropical low that there could be some locally heavy rainfall in southeast Texas. Don't be surprised if that happens. Usually that then will move on out of the picture as we head towards late Sunday, and we'll start to see a drier forecast as this then turns to the north like I showed you and moves off to the north and east as we head towards Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. So coastal marine forecast for Wednesday is showing slightly choppy seas around 2 feet and a southwest wind. You know that. Tonight we're looking at a quiet night. Temperatures will be in the lower and middle 70s lakes, mid to upper 70s in the triangle. Skies will become mostly clear as winds go calm. Then tomorrow, here's your outdoor forecast for Wednesday. Looks like about a 10, maybe 20% coverage of showers and storms. Most areas along I-10 north through the lakes will see mid 90s. Could see about a 93 over towards, say, LaBelle, 92, 93 there, and maybe 91, 90 over into Port Arthur. Triple-digit heat indices are expected, and it looks like a 11.4 on your UV index with lights out to southwest winds. So tomorrow, there you go. Here's your forecast: mid-90s lakes, about 93 over towards Mid-County and Bridge City, and back over to Orange, 94 Beaumont, and north towards the lakes area. Heat indices, as I said, will be in the triple digits. I like about 102 tomorrow. All right, taking a look at your weather impact 7-day forecast. So I'm going with just a 10% coverage for Wednesday. Thursday, we'll probably start off with sun, and then the clouds will start to increase Thursday afternoon. And there's potential we could see some rain really start moving in Thursday night, maybe a 40 to 50% coverage coming in from the east, and you can see the clouds thickening up over the area Thursday afternoon. Friday, I expect lots of clouds at the very least. Cloudy to mostly cloudy skies Friday and Saturday, and that will knock afternoon high temperatures down. We'll go with a 60 to 70% coverage. That's the coverage, it's not the amount, okay? You can have 100% coverage of rain and only be a tenth or a trace like they get up in Seattle, okay? This is the coverage. I'll show you how much we think is possible coming up Friday and Saturday in just a second. Rain chances take a nosedive on Sunday as the moisture begins moving out and we start drying the atmosphere, and by Monday and Tuesday, very little is expected. Highs rebound into the mid-90s. So I've been using the European because it is probably the wettest of all models. GFS is not showing this much, and this is a deterministic model. I've also looked at the European ensemble models, and they're showing very low probabilities of 5 inches over southeast Texas. It's off to the east, over towards Morgan City, Terrebonne Parish, Lafourche Parish, back over towards New Orleans that we'll see the heaviest rainfall. This looks like 1 to 1.5 inches. We'll go 1 to 2, maybe 3. Some surprises are certainly possible in this type of tropical air mass, but that's the bottom line. Again, the best chances coming up on Friday and Saturday across southeast Texas. Let me see if we have any other questions real quickly. And we are certainly taking them if you have a question. Yeah, I've covered everybody. So again, the best chances of rain coming up Friday and Saturday as the low, whatever it is, makes landfall to our east Thursday evening, maybe Friday morning, and moves on off towards the west, weakening and bringing in quite a bit of moisture. And we may see a pretty good chance of rain and thunderstorms, well, thunder showers over our area as we work on into, say, Friday and Saturday.